What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we're going to be getting into one of my favorite subjects to talk about, and that is locks. Now this is going to be a pretty niche video because I'm going to be getting into some of the things I've learned over the past 2 years as someone who has locks but is also a hijabi. So very niche video. Not a lot of people will understand this experience, but I wish a video like this existed 2 years ago when I was first starting my lock journey. I feel like it would have given me a lot of insight and help me make better decisions, but that's what I'm here for today. So we're gonna get into some of those lessons today. I'm also gonna be sharing with you guys some of the products and things I've been loving using in my hair recently. So make sure you stay tuned till the end. And a little disclaimer, because I know y'all love to tussle when it comes to this subject. Do your research before you comment. Do your research, because I feel like a lot of people, especially when it comes to black hair in general, as soon as they hear braids, locks, they start foaming at the mouth to tell you something is wrong with you doing that to your hair. Something is wrong with you choosing to maintain your hair in this way, choosing to maintain this protective style. But all I'm gonna say is I don't have the words anymore for y'all. Please, the internet is free. Go and do your research. Thank you very much. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So a little bit of background info before we get started. I have had my locks now for about 2 years. I started my lock journey in February of 2023, making it a couple of months and 2 years. So she is on her way to 3 years, inshallah. And I feel like I've learned quite a bit in these 2 years. And I'm just gonna keep learning, inshallah. And every time I learn something, I'm gonna share it with you guys. But yeah, 2 years in, I have micro locks. I started my lock journey with chemically processed hair. I had been texlaxing my hair for like the year prior to my lock journey. So I started my locks with chemically processed hair, which I know is a myth to some people, but I'm here to tell you it is actually possible. It just takes a little longer. That's pretty much the background on my situation. Now, let me tell you some of the things I've learned. Lesson number 1. I wish I knew that your lock journey is what you make it. Now, what I mean by this is that 2 years ago, I probably would have said that locks are the most low maintenance hairstyle that you could possibly ever put in your head. 2 years later, it's not the same situation. Absolutely not. Why? Because I have chosen to take on a much more high maintenance approach towards my locks, because I'm just in a season right now where I really like my locks to look polished. I like when my locks are well maintained. I like when I can see my parts. I almost always like when I can see my parts, but I'm really diligent about that right now. I guess maybe because I'm a newlywed. I'm a lot more, I pay a lot more attention to these things, okay? So your lock journey is what you make it. It's really up to you. It's not so much of this blanket statement where, oh my God, you get locks and you're never gonna have to worry about your hair again. No. If that's the lifestyle you wanna take on though, you can absolutely do that. Just be prepared for your locks to reflect that. So if you wanna free form, if you wanna neglect your locks, if you wanna just let them be free, they're gonna look real free. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That's just not the look I wanted for myself. But if you want the polished, maintained, freshly retied look, you could also get that. It just takes a lot of time. So right now, according to me and my lock journey, I would say that locks are very high maintenance, but that's only because of the time that I put into my locks now. I like to trim them very often. I like to retie them often. I retie about every 6 weeks. And even within those 6 weeks, like I'll redo my perimeter, the front perimeter, 1-2 times between that time, just to make sure that it looks nice, because I like that look. I think it's pretty. My husband also likes it. And that's where I'm at right now. Maybe in a couple of years, that won't be the same situation, and I'll start screaming from the rooftops that, oh my God, locks are the most low maintenance hairstyle in the world. But that's just not where I'm at right now. So locks are truly what you make it. What you invest is what you get out of it, if that makes sense. So if you are looking for a low maintenance hairstyle, you can do that with locks. Just be prepared for your locks to look like they're not so maintained. Likewise, if you want to, or you're willing to put more time into maintaining your locks, you can get exactly that as well. The next lesson I wish I knew before I got locks is that locks are not inherently stinky, but they can stink, just like any type of hair, to be honest. As long as you are either not washing your hair properly or not drying it properly, your locks have the potential to stink. Now, I think the drying situation is a little bit more different when it comes to locks, because because you have to be a lot more intentional. You have to have a lot more patience when it comes to drying your locks in order to avoid, that really yucky, damp smell that if you have locks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is something I've had to learn over the past few years, especially as someone who wears hijab. It's not as easy as air drying my hair, especially if I know I have places to be and people to see, things to do, and I'm gonna have to wear my hijab in order to do those things. I have to plan ahead of my plans in order to ensure that my locks don't end up messing up my plans, if that makes sense. So essentially what I'm saying is that I wish I knew that even well-kept locks have the potential to have a smell, and it all comes down to how you're drying your locks. I have a little hood attachment here, which I'm gonna show you guys if I can get it out of this bag. Okay, here it is. This is the hood attachment that I like to use with my dryer. I feel like it helps me get a more even dry situation around my head. The dryer I use is also like just very generic. I don't even know where this is from, to be honest, but you can use any dryer with this hood attachment from what I understand. I will try to link this down below. I've had this for quite some time, so I'm not exactly sure where I got it. This dryer has been an absolute godsend, especially when it comes to situations where I've had to wash my hair and be out of the house in the next hour or so. I pull this thing out along with my dryer and I put it on the hottest setting, and in about 30 minutes, my hair is completely dry. Now, if I have the day to waste away and I don't have any place to be, obviously, like, I'm just gonna allow my hair to air dry, and that's just enough to get it completely dry. But as a hijabi, sometimes you can't do that. If you need to step out for a second, you wanna ensure that you're not putting damp hair inside of an undercap, inside of a hijab. That is literally the prime environment for your hair to start smelling really funny. So I would recommend investing in one of these. It's been really, really helpful, or just planning ahead to ensure that you don't run into a situation where your hair is wet and you have a place to be, because that is just the worst. I'll admit there have been moments where I haven't had enough time to dry my hair in advance and I've had to just throw on an undercap, throw on a hijab, and it's not been a good situation later on when my hair starts to get that damp smell. So that is how you avoid that situation, but definitely something I wish I would have known a long time ago, because I would have invested in one of these little hoods at the very start. Lesson number 3, when you are starting your locks, if you do not have the patience to be precise, then don't DIY. Let me tell you why. I started my lock journey on my own. As you guys know, I DIY'd my locks from the very jump. I was doing my own reties for a couple of months. I think even the first year and some months before I moved to Dallas, and I found my loctician here who has been helping me out. But before then, I was doing it all on my own. And if only I had known some things at the very start, I would have done my locks, or I would have started my locks very differently. Now, for one, I wouldn't have interlocked so quickly. I would have first parted my entire head and done my twist without interlocking, just so I could go back later and fix any of my parts, fix any of the locks that are, too big, too small, that kind of thing. Because once you interlock, you're kind of like locked in. Like, it's gonna be really hard to unlock that lock. So I wish I would have done that a long time ago. I wish I would have done that when I started my locks. It would have given me the opportunity to go back and fix some of the locks that I'm not so happy with right now. Another thing I wish I would have done better was the front perimeter of my head. I feel like the front of most people's head is the most fragile. Like, your hair is a lot more fragile, it's delicate, in some cases it's thin, and I knew that, but for some reason I still made the smallest locks on my head the ones in the front. So now I'm a little bit afraid for when my locks start to get longer and heavier. I'm really afraid of breakage being something I have to deal with. I pray, inshallah, that is not my portion. But I have heard of some experiences where people did not leave enough hair in the section for the lock, and the lock starts to break over time because it's a lot of weight for that very small lock, if that makes sense. A lot of this is super niche, and if you don't have locks, you're gonna be like, what is this girl talking about? But I promise you, there is science to this. Okay, but those are the two things I wish I could have gone back in time and done differently. So if you are planning to DIY your locks, but you don't have the patience to be precise and to be diligent and to take your time with your locks, just don't DIY them. Go ask for help. And it doesn't even need to be from a professional. Let it just be someone around you who can double check your scalp and see if your parts are even, see if they need to be reparted, things like that, because it'll save you in the long run. I was Mrs. DIY for a long time. I'm so proud of saying that I can do everything by myself, but there's a lot of deficiencies in doing things by yourself. And there's a lot of benefits that come from having people help you. So if I could go back in time, I definitely would have had my sister or my mom come check my sections, come check my boxes, come check the size of my locks in the back of my head that I can't see, just to make sure things are even, things are neat, things are looking good. Because once you interlock, you're locked in. Lesson number 4. I wish I knew how much my locks would swell. Now, I told you guys in the beginning that I particularly chose micro locks because not only do I like the style, but I also felt that they would lay better underneath my hijab. And in my experience, they have definitely, been pretty flat. A lot of times people can't even see that I have locks unless I do some sort of style like twists or braids. That's when it tends to get super bumpy and just not a good look, not one of my favorite situations. But yeah, for the most part, they lay pretty flat. But did they lay flatter in the beginning? Absolutely. 2 years ago, you could hardly see any sort of bumps, texture, anything in my hijab. My hijab was laying so flat, and it's because I thought when I started my micro locks that they were gonna stay that size forever. Especially considering the fact that I started my locks with chemically processed hair. I had no idea how much my locks would shrink and how thick they would get. So just be prepared for your locks to swell, especially if you're starting your hair with chemically processed hair. They likely will swell even more than you are anticipating them to, because you have yet to see what your natural hair looks like in its locked state. If you're starting your hair with relaxed hair, for example, you only see what your relaxed hair looks like, not what the hair growing out of your scalp is gonna look like once it locks. So I wish I would have known that. I definitely would have taken that into consideration, probably made some of my locks a lot smaller so that in the long run, they wouldn't have swelled to the level that they have. My locks are still pretty micro. They're just like a lot of different sizes going on, but that's completely normal as well. Even with those who go to professionals, like your locks are gonna have a personality of their own and they're gonna develop as they see fit. I think just because I'm a bit of a nitpicky person, I definitely would have gone back in time and just like probably made a couple a little bit smaller, a couple a little bit bigger if I knew how they were gonna develop over time, but that's just my experience. And then finally, lesson number 5. I wish I knew, sadly, how misinformed a lot of people are within the Muslim community when it comes to locks and black hair in general. I think it would have saved me a lot of discussions, a lot of arguments, a lot of headaches that I had when I first initially started sharing things about my lock journey online. It was extremely disheartening to see like how many people jumped to the conclusion of one thing or another without even knowing what locks are. Like people who have never felt a lock, have never been friends with someone who has a lock, have never had a lock in their head in their life, somehow had the most to say. And sometimes even in real life, a lot of people are misinformed, even black people as well, about protective styles and braids and locks. I'm not gonna tell you what's right or wrong. I'm gonna tell you I've done my research, and I highly encourage that you do your research as well and you check who your sources are, because I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. Just check your sources, do your research, and make the best decision you see fit for yourself at the end of the day, and seek guidance from Allah. Like that's the best thing I can tell you guys, because I've had this back and forth way too many times. It grows tired. But those are some of the things I've learned over the past few years surrounding my lock journey, especially as a hijabi. If you guys have anything to add on to that, please comment down below, because if there's any more surprises coming ahead of me in year 3, year 4, year 5, I would like to know them now. Thank you very much. So if you guys have any micro lock, just lock experiences of your own, especially as a hijabi, comment down below. Share for myself and anyone else who ends up checking out the comment section. Now I want to get into some of the products that have been working for me on my journey so far. I have told you guys in several videos before that I'm still too scared to use conditioners or moisturizing products in my hair, mainly because I'm afraid of buildup. So I tend to just stay away from super thick, heavy products, and I stick to things that are very light, water-based, easily can be washed out of my hair so that I don't have to worry about the possibility of buildup. Now, first things first, shampoos. A lot of y'all saw this one coming. You saw it coming. I'm actually really predictable. But my holy grail, Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Castile soap. This has been a lifesaver for me, quite literally. Every time I mention the soap, I tell you guys I use it for everything, and I'm not joking. But it really comes in handy as a clarifying shampoo. I have yet to find another shampoo on the market that gets my hair as clean as this. And this isn't even a shampoo really, to be honest. But with this stuff, 2 washes is all I need, and my hair is squeaky clean, my locks and my scalp included. If you are someone that struggles with having like a very dry scalp though, I don't know if I would recommend this because it does get your scalp like squeaky clean, like strips all the oils. So if you are intending to keep some of those oils, you might want to stay away from this because this can be very harsh. So I have not been using this on a regular basis, but when I want to clarify and like completely get my locks just completely stripped, this is what I use. Next up is this tea tree shampoo by Soapbox. I recently started using this in about February of this year when I colored my hair and I wanted like a color safe alternative, and I really like this shampoo. I find with about 3 washes my hair gets squeaky clean with this stuff, but again, nothing works like the Dr. products. But this is still a really good shampoo that I would highly recommend, especially if you have color treated hair and you want to maintain your color. This is that good stuff. It gives me a similar like squeaky clean feeling as the Dr. Bronner shampoo because it is tea tree, so it has that like, you know, not peppermint feel, but you know what I mean, like your scalp feels really clean when you use it. So I really do like this. And this one is definitely one that is worth mentioning. This is the Way Detox shampoo. I would say that it is my 3rd favorite out of the 2 that I just mentioned. I probably have to wash my hair about 3 to 4 times with this to get that clean feeling that I'm going for, but it's still a pretty good shampoo and it leaves your hair smelling really nicely afterwards. That's one of the things I like this for. I like the smell that it leaves in my hair afterwards. But for a daily shampoo, I feel like this is definitely a really good formula. It's not super stripping. It's something that you can use and not worry about like the integrity of your scalp. At least in my situation, it's not been super drying. So I really like this one as well. Now, when it comes to everyday styling, I told you guys I'm still not using heavy creams or oils or conditioners in my hair just yet because I'm just not there yet. But if you guys have recommendations, let me know. But I like to use this As I Am rice water spray whenever I'm in the house and I just want to like make my hair look a little cute, a little fresh. I just spray this all around it. I'm pretty sure that this is water-based. Yeah, it's a water-based product, so you could probably get the same effect, to be honest, with just using water and one of your favorite essential oils in a bottle, but I feel like this makes me feel a little bit more fancy, so I like to use it for that reason. I just spray it around my head. It's super easy to wash out and it doesn't leave any weird residues or any weird smells, so I really like this for that reason. And then last but not least, when it comes to really styling my hair, let's say I want to do a twist out or a braid out of some sort, I like to use this, the Do Most Def Texture Foam. I find that this really helps my locks to hold a curl in the event that, like I said, I want to do a twist out or a braid out. This is gonna hold that style for me. It's gonna keep it in place and it's super easy to wash out, which is very important to me if you guys can't tell by now. Doesn't leave buildup or any sort of weird residue in your hair, and it also smells really good. So I would highly recommend this if you're someone that likes to style your hair in the house, particularly locks. I'm not sure how this would work with loose hair, but with locks, it does the job. So that is pretty much all I have to share with you guys in today's video. I hope you were able to take away something from this video. And if you have anything you want to share, whether it be products that you're using or tips that you would like to share with me or people who may be interested in getting locks themselves or on their lock journey as well, make sure to comment down below, put the girls on. Thank you so much for making it to this portion of the video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah. Bye guys.